Hello, friends. Listen to my painful story, and if you get some lessons from my story, then subscribe to my channel and like the video. I still remember the night the roof started leaking. Not a gentle drip, but a steady, cold stream that ran down the cracked ceiling and fell right next to my bed. I was 16, lying there, staring at that water as it soaked into the floor we couldn't afford to fix. And I remember thinking something I had never said out loud before. I can't live like this forever. My name is Emily Carter, and I grew up in a forgotten corner of Ohio, the kind of place people pass through but never stay. We weren't just poor, we were invisible. My mom worked 2 jobs, sometimes 3, and still came home counting coins on the kitchen table. My father, well, he left when I was 8. No goodbye, no explanation, just an empty chair and a silence that never really left the house. But despite everything, I had dreams, big ones. I wanted a life where I didn't have to choose between electricity and groceries. A life where I could breathe without fear of everything falling apart. And for a while, I thought I had found my way out. His name was Daniel. He was charming, confident, everything I wasn't. He came into my life during my first year of college, when I was juggling classes, part-time jobs, and the constant fear of dropping out. "You don't belong in struggle," he told me once, smiling like he already knew my future. And I believed him. That was my first mistake. Daniel made everything feel possible. He encouraged me, supported me, or at least that's what I thought. He helped me land an internship at a small startup. He introduced me to people I never imagined meeting. For the first time in my life, I felt seen, valued, chosen. But what I didn't know that day was that some people don't lift you up because they believe in you. They lift you up so they can stand on you later. And by the time I realized what Daniel had really done, it was already too late. At first, everything felt like a dream. The internship turned into a full-time opportunity. I worked harder than I ever had in my life. Late nights, early mornings, endless revisions. I poured everything into it because I knew what it meant to lose everything. Daniel was always there, or so I thought. He'd ask about my work, offer advice, even review my ideas. Sometimes he'd say, "You're going to be more successful than all of us," and I'd laugh, thinking he was just being kind. But slowly, things began to shift. Subtle at first. Ideas I shared with him started showing up in meetings, presented by him. At first, I brushed it off. Maybe it was a coincidence. Maybe I had mentioned it casually, and he just expanded on it. But then it kept happening, again and again. Until one day, I walked into a meeting and heard my entire project being explained, word for word, by Daniel. My hands went cold. I sat there, frozen, listening as everyone praised him. "That's brilliant, Daniel. This could change everything." And I just sat there, invisible, again. After the meeting, I pulled him aside. "Why didn't you say it was my idea?" I asked, trying to keep my voice steady. He looked at me, calm, almost amused. "Emily," he said softly, "we're a team. It doesn't matter who says it." But it did matter. It mattered because I was the one who stayed up until 3 a.m. working on it. It mattered because I needed that recognition. And deep down, I knew something wasn't right. But I ignored it because I was afraid of losing the one person who made me feel like I belonged. That was my second mistake. Over the next few months, things got worse. Daniel became more distant, more controlling. He started making decisions without me, decisions that directly affected my role. And then, one day, I received an email that changed everything. A promotion announcement, but not mine. Daniel had been promoted to lead the very project I had built from scratch. And my name? It wasn't even mentioned. I remember staring at the screen, my vision blurred by tears I refused to let fall. That was the moment everything inside me broke. But something else was born too. Clarity. I finally saw the truth. Daniel hadn't been helping me. He had been using me. Every idea, every late night, every ounce of effort I gave, he took it. And now he was standing on top of it, calling it his success. But what he didn't realize was that I wasn't the same girl who lay in that leaking room anymore. I had learned something growing up with nothing. When you lose everything, you stop being afraid of losing anything. And that's when I decided I wasn't going to stay silent anymore. I didn't confront him again, not immediately, because this time I wasn't reacting. I was planning. For weeks, I gathered everything. Every draft, every timestamp, every message where I had shared ideas with Daniel, every document with my name on it before it mysteriously disappeared. I stayed quiet, worked harder, and waited. Then came the biggest presentation of the year, a room full of executives, investors, decision-makers. Daniel was ready, confident, smiling, standing there about to present what he believed was his masterpiece. But this time, I wasn't going to sit in silence. As he began speaking, I stood up. My heart was racing, but my voice didn't shake. I think there's something important missing from this presentation. The room went quiet. Daniel froze. "Emily, now's not the time." "No," I said firmly. "This is exactly the time." I walked to the front, connected my laptop, and opened the original files. My files. "I created this project," I said, my voice steady, "and I can prove it." One by one, I showed everything. Dates, versions, messages, proof. The room shifted. You could feel it. The confidence Daniel walked in with, slowly slipping away. He tried to interrupt, tried to explain, but the truth doesn't need explanation. It just needs to be seen. And that day, it was. The silence in that room was heavier than anything I had ever felt, because for the first time, I wasn't invisible. Daniel didn't say much after that. He couldn't. Within weeks, he was removed from his position, quietly. No announcements this time. And me? I didn't just get recognition. I got something far more important: my voice back. Years later, I built my own company, not out of revenge, but out of purpose, because I wanted to create a place where no one would feel the way I did, where hard work wouldn't be stolen, where voices wouldn't be ignored. And sometimes people ask me if I regret trusting Daniel. I don't, because that betrayal didn't destroy me, it revealed me. It showed me exactly who I needed to become. So if you're listening to this and you feel invisible, overlooked, used, just remember this: your silence might protect others, but your voice will protect you. And one day, it might just change everything. Thank you for listening to my story. If you've ever been betrayed by those closest to you, know that you are stronger than the pain. Drop a comment below. I read every single one. And remember, keep blooming. If you like my story, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and share it. When you lose everything, you stop being afraid of losing anything. And that's when I decided I wasn't going to stay silent anymore.